Hey, Nathan.
Hey, Bobby.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Because this could be a podcast.
This could be a podcast.
Well, we have things on the agenda that we have to tackle real quick here, Nathan. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of people don't know that we do this podcast in Dubuque, Iowa.
Gorgeous
Dubuque,
mighty
Iowa.
Right along the mighty Mississippi.
Yeah, it's right where the Iowa, Illinois, and Wisconsin meet on the Mississippi.
It's called the tri-state area.
It's called the tri-state.
It's one of them.
Exactly. And we have bluffs. It's very hilly.
It's gorgeous.
Some have called it the San Francisco of the Midwest.
It is part of the driftless region, if you want to Google that.
And so Dubuque is a little odd town, odd small city, and we get referenced in certain things. Like there's a history of some movies being made here.
Yes.
Sylvester Stallone's Fist was made.
Take This Job and Shove It was also filmed here.
And so I pulled up Encyclopedia Dubuque.
Yes.
To go through all the references in pop culture that they could find.
Sure.
And we'll fill in some gaps here, but this is all going to crescendo to what's on the docket here. And we'll get to that. So back in 1928, there was a song called Back in Old Dubuque. That was a show tune from a musical.
A musical. We don't know what musical it is, but just a musical. Yeah. It's lost to the sands of time. Yeah, apparently.
We'll do some deep digging and figure that out. And then in 1967, there was the Dubuque Blues. Was a song by the
Association. Yeah,
yes.
I've only heard that song at a jukebox. It's a bar. It's not open anymore. They had a jukebox and it was like.
And they had it.
Long Comes Mary or Windy, and that was the B side. Was Dubuque Blues, and it's not a good song. It's not very good.
It says here one of the 60s most popular bands, but performed in the Locust Street parking ramp at a teen dance. So is that the recording?
I don't know. No, I don't think it wasn't a live recording. But maybe it was because they did used to have like teen dances.
Oh yeah,
and I think it's the same. It's the same parking ramp.
Yeah, I've thrown a teen dance in that parking ramp.
That's still there.
Yeah,
I think
it's a legendary parking ramp. It's one of the reasons to come to Dubuque.
There was a lot of parties. I love the signage of that.
So then in 1980, there was The Lady from Dubuque by Edward Albee, and it premiered on Broadway and ran for 12 performances. So there's that.
That's interesting.
Okay, and that's in response, and that's in reference to the New Yorker, correct?
Yeah, the New Yorker's slogan is "It's not for the lady from Dubuque."
Yes.
Because they're so hard and edgy that it's
a burn.
A burn to the Midwestern sensibilities that Dubuque represents.
And it will never get to the lady in Dubuque, so she'll never even know that they're making fun of her.
Right.
They're not going to get the New Yorker.
They're not going to get the New Yorker in little old Dubuque.
Yeah, that's why they will never be sponsored by New Yorkers. We won't allow it.
We won't allow it.
Okay, you come at us,
fucks.
we'll come back at you hard. In 1984, sorry, I didn't want to skip over this one. Murder, She Wrote, the first episode references Dubuque.
Dubuque is mentioned.
Yeah. I have to go back and watch the first episode of Murder, She Wrote just to see what context.
I think I want to do that.
Yeah. And then in 1999, there was a song, and in between 84 and 99, there was also Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
We've talked about that.
I'm not sure if they ever say, I don't think they say Dubuque.
No.
Or anything.
It's the stand in Boston.
Or Dyersville. They don't say Dyersville.
No. But they definitely say Iowa. We know that.
We know that.
But Dubuque is heavily featured in that movie
Iowa.
As Boston, which...
Yeah, they did shoot. They made Dubuque for Boston because we've got a nice little industrial area. Yeah. We really do.
If you've ever been to Boston, there's very similar aspects.
Yeah.
There is a lot.
Except for the aggression.
Oh, no, the aggression's real. Some of the racism's real. Some of that translates, but... we're working on it.
Yeah, do they have the 2020 piece on the KKK alive and well in Dubuque?
Right.
That's not on here. Come on, guys.
Come on, it's not all great history. In 1999, there's a song called Dubuque by George Winston, released on the album Plains Year. You can listen to that if you want.
Have you ever heard of this person before in your life? And would you say know a lot about music and music history?
I do. I feel from the album name, Plains Year, I think it's one of those people that win Grammys that you've never heard of before because they do a special niche. This is
folk albums that are 45 minutes to 50 minutes long.
Correct. That it play on NPR, at 3 a.m. Yes. So that's what I feel. We can look that up later on.
George Winston.
Interested in this next one. In 2000, there's a movie called Happy Accidents where Sam, played by Vincent D'Onofrio, tells Ruby, played by Marissa Tomei, love Marissa Tomei, that he traveled back in time from May 8th, 2432. So the year 2439, sorry, 2439. And it's starting in Dubuque, Iowa on the Atlantic coast.
I know, like, I've seen the thumbnail
Yeah.
for this movie. I've never, like, watched it. Now I'm curious.
I'm very curious because the thumbnail of the movie itself screams rom-com.
Yeah, or not just, just romance.
Yeah.
Not necessarily comedy.
And it doesn't scream time travel.
Right.
So-
There is something about the idea. I know that Vincent D'Onofrio has uttered the word Dubuque out of his mouth. There's
nice
something special about that.
calming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can sleep well at night knowing that Vincent D'Onofrio has said Dubuque.
So we got to watch this. This will be a movie night that we'll do, and we'll watch this and
All right.
see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna get become the Atlantic coast,
Hey, listen,
get some oceanfront property.
here in Arizona.
Exactly. So and then 2009, we talked about this one before.
Oh, Up in the Air.
Up in the Air, where George Clooney's character achieves the goal of reaching 10 million miles over
Dubuque.
Dubuque, Iowa.
Yeah.
So another little random reference. I believe in between this is when Mississippi Grind is made. And
I think it might be later.
later.
I want to say it was like, that was 2014, 2015.
Okay, we'll stay chronological order here. So then in 2012, there was The Bachelor came through.
Yes.
And featured many of the prominent landmarks that we have around
All
Dubuque.
the ladies just running around Dubuque having a grand old time. Our friend Jared, he was a PA.
Mm-hmm.
He had to go find bales of hay because they did a scene in a barn or something, or maybe like the rose ceremony was like in a barn. And he had to go like find hay.
Yeah,
it was kind of ridiculous.
Sounds like a ridiculous job.
Right.
I never watched the show.
No, you've never.
No.
Oh, you're not a Bachelor head?
I'm not a big batch head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So dumb.
So then, and then after this, after The Bachelor is when we have Mississippi Grind.
Mississippi Grind.
Which is, I don't know if they mentioned Dubuque, but Dubuque, they used the...
Yeah, they did. They did some establishing shots in downtown Dubuque. My favorite is Gordon Toggery, a place that rents suits and tuxes downtown, and it's got this fantastic, like, old mannequins. They don't use them all the time now. Like, when I say old mannequins, I mean
they're
like
old.
Like they to the point where they're creepy.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love about them is they're somewhat unsettling.
Yeah.
It's great.
You don't want to run into them when the lights are off. But in the description, so that there are the establishing shots in Mississippi Grind.
Yes.
But it does say Mississippi Grind was a motion picture about two gamblers who travel from Dubuque to New Orleans to play a high-stakes poker game. It's technically starting from Dubuque in that movie. And then we go to in 2018.
Yes.
It was referenced in Weekend Review on SNL, where Carrie Crum, played by actress Adie Bryant, she is a 7th grade travel expert, and she informed host Michael Che that Dubuque is a can't-miss destination.
She's not wrong.
Yeah.
Listen.
Tells me that's like that fucking New Yorker log
Right.
line
Oh,
there.
yeah. Listen, everybody should come visit Dubuque because it's a lovely town, right? Everybody should come here.
Sure,
Make a weekend out of it.
I always remember because when we were on the road touring and stuff like that, we'd tell people, we grew up in Iowa. Everyone would always say,
it's all flat.
It's all
flat.
flat.
Corn. Blah, blah, blah.
And that is the one calling card. The only good thing I'll say about Dubuque is that
Dubuque's not flat.
we're not flat.
I was not necessarily that flat.
No.
Comparatively.
No.
There's a lot more rolling hills across the state than
We're
there
not-
are vast plains of,
We're not
nothing.
fucking Nebraska.
Or central Illinois.
There's also one other thing here on this list that is not and should
It's
be.
not, should be.
But I actually, when we were playing at the Hotel Julian, which is
Lovely.
featured in The Bachelor,
Classy joint in downtown Dubuque.
oldest hotel in Iowa, I believe is what their calling card is. So my wife and I were playing there on a Thursday night, I believe, Thursday, Friday night, whatever.
Yeah.
A guy approaches us afterwards saying there's a special event the next day, and he'd love for us to play music for it. And unfortunately, my wife she had prior plans, so she can do it. But I'm like, well, I can do it because they're going to pay well and everything. I'm like, sure, absolutely.
How much do they pay?
I think it was like $300.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, $300 for
that's not bad.
an hour.
Yeah.
That's
pretty good. That's
hour
pretty
of actual
good.
time. So of playing.
Yeah.
So we, so I show up. I don't need to ask many questions. It's pretty much they're like, just do the same thing you just did. I'm like, easy peasy.
Done.
And so I show up, and there's a bunch of people in the bar and everything like that. And it's a party. They brought in some like casino games, I'm thinking, hey, this is maybe someone's corporate event,
Sure,
something
sure.
like that. The guy that hired me, he comes up and he's like, do you know what's going on? I'm like, no, I have no idea what's going on. He's like, oh, okay, well, here, let
You're
me
in for a
explain.
real treat.
So it was Caitlyn Jenner's reality show.
Okay.
And this was within 6 months of the transformation from Bruce to Caitlyn.
Oh.
It was very soon after that. So
did you ask her about the decathlon?
I did not get to meet her. She was at one point in time going to use my microphone, and then it was decided that she was going to have her own microphone. I have no
Plugged
idea.
into your PA?
Yeah, they were going to use my PA for it, but then they just switched and they went with the house system. It was very confusing. I was like, oh, okay.
Rolling with the punches.
Rolling with the punches. But she had a reality show called I Am Kate or something like that.
Okay.
And so I played the event, and she came in for like 15 fucking minutes. Like, it was, and she did not look happy to be here, but that could just be her face. I don't know.
That's just weird. Why would you? Okay. I need to watch, what's it called? I need to watch Happy Accidents.
Yeah.
And
I don't think we need
and
to
also look up who George Winston is.
Yeah.
And then I need to find this clip of Caitlyn Jenner in Hotel Julian.
It'd be interesting if we could find it.
Yeah.
Because I did look up and see if I've got any credit, for being in the music or anything like that, but they didn't put me in the IMDb. But this all leads up to,
yes.
So last week I was listening to the Workaholics, This Is Important podcast.
Yeah, oh yeah. You love that. You love that
I
podcast.
like the podcast, but we share a lot of similarities
Yes.
with those guys. We started our podcast about 6 months before theirs.
Mm-hmm.
We both
Real
have podcasts.
real copycat situation.
I don't want to. I'm not throwing barbs. I'm not.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
okay.
doing that. No,
Right.
I'm saying there's just a lot of similarities. Both our podcasts start off with this.
Yeah.
In the way they end their podcast is very similar to the way we end our podcast.
How do they end theirs?
They all say this is important at the end, and just like we always say, this could be a podcast. Okay,
yeah.
Similar.
Very similar.
I'll warn them a little bit. They are getting close to our word of the day calendar for idiots, and
really?
They're dancing around it a little too much. So I'll just throw that out there. For them. But last week they were talking about they've been doing some live events.
Yeah.
And they were throwing out all these major cities, Las Vegas, San Diego, all these different places they could go, and they were throwing out to the listeners to give them suggestions. Well, Adam Devine, amongst this list of big cities that they're throwing out, says, or if there's a wedding in Dubuque, Iowa that you want us to come to. And
okay.
And I stopped. I was like, what? Did he really just fucking say Dubuque, Iowa?
He just stopped you in your tracks.
Well, I was driving, so I kept driving.
You didn't slam on the brakes and say, what the fuck?
I didn't do that. But it's one of those things where you're like, wow, he really dropped that. And he was, I think, born in Waterloo.
He's a Waterloo guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blake apparently is from Iowa as well.
Why did because I remember here maybe we listened to that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was maybe he's from Waverly or something. I can't remember. Is that or maybe Marshalltown? I can't. Something.
It's not. Well, they've had an Iowa debate, and so what we're doing.
Who is the more Iowan? I think.
Correct.
Yeah. I listened to that clip. Yeah.
Right. So what we're doing is we're going to combine our resources here.
Okay.
We're going to take their audience and our listener, and we're listeners. We're going to put them together.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to invite them to Dubuque officially.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Do we have to get a wax seal or have it notarized?
There might be like a homing pigeon involved or something like that.
Certified mail.
We have to. We'll look into that too.
Okay.
But invite them to Dubuque, but with this caveat.
Okay.
And I think this is what's really going to grease the wheels. Juice Newton the thing. Okay. Is that what we do? Is we set up a basically crowdfunding apparatus that they can fund the budget for their Workaholics movie. So I don't know if you know this. There was a Workaholics movie.
Okay.
That was about 3 weeks, maybe a month away from production, and Paramount Plus backed out.
Just pulled it.
Just pulled everything. So they had locations. They had people hired that had all ready to go. They backed out. It's since become a rallying cry for them to say fuck Paramount Plus.
Sherry Redstone. I tell you what.
So what I feel we could do is start the crowdsourcing. And they could do this. I'm not imagining that we're going to raise all the money in one night here in Dubuque, Iowa, but we can start it off.
Yeah.
But we can start it off.
People are trying to fund a children's hospital right now, so.
Well, I'd rather watch a Workaholics movie than have a children's hospital. But that's just
what about a children's
preference.
hospital movie?
No.
That's meant to be short. Those are short episodes. They got to stay short.
They have to. So that's my invitation. That's the gauntlet throwdown.
Yeah.
It could be this could be an important podcast.
Yeah.
You know, where actually we work around the big Hollywood and try to make. Because I looked up the budget for their Game Over Man. It was something like $25 million, and there's a lot of action in that. I think you can get away with $10 million.
This is supposed to be like Workaholics.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that was never like, big bombastic, gigantic sets.
No.
And
they lived in the house that they shot in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for years. Yeah, so they're again. I think between $10-15 million. If we can get 1 million people to give $10.
Yeah.
And over the course of I'd say 6 months to a year.
Yeah,
we should be able to have this shit funded and ready to go. And I expect them to kick in as well a little bit.
I would say they're going to forfeit. They're just going to take back end. They're going to forfeit a salary.
Yeah.
And just say,
so
we're going to work for free and we're going to take the back end deal on this.
Yep.
And then they have 100% ownership of it.
There we
go. I mean,
so that's the invitation.
That's the idea. It's it's an official invitation. Do we have any fanfare or anything like that? What do you got?
Where be your nutcracker?
Yeah, that's how you officially invite somebody to come to town to raise money for their independent film project.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's always this
family.
Oldie
family.
Goodie,
it's an oldie. That's a classic.
Yeah. I feel our Fast and Furious talk would be right up there.
Oh, they want to hear all about Fast and Furious and how Fast and Furious should make their own baseball movie. That they would be all about that. But yeah, no, I think getting people to have people come to town because, like I said, it's a can't miss.
It's a can't miss.
It's a can't miss, and I agree.
So the call to action though too for our listeners is to take this episode and GM them,
shove it in their face.
That's part of our listeners. They have to go and put this in front of them.
Yeah.
Because we can't be the only ones doing it.
If anybody knows their agent's number or their own personal cell phone number, if you could just text them, that'd be great as well.
I can cross that off the docket. That was the one thing we really had to do.
That's something we really need. We needed to tell those guys what's what because they need to come to town. We're fun guys. They're fun guys.
Yeah, I agree. So now I'm going to switch topics.
Okay. Oh, geez, you really got an agenda.
Well, I've been meaning to talk to you about this because it's been living with me. Okay.
Okay.
I started the show Oz.
Oz, the HBO program.
Oz.
Yeah.
And
how is it? I only watched like 6 episodes, I think, before I gave up.
I'm just really happy I knew J.K. Simmons from Farmers Insurance before I watched Oz.
The hardcore Nazi wasn't settling well with you.
Correct.
You just
he plays it well.
He plays it really well.
Yeah, and it's a little bit in the first episode. I mean, it takes 15 minutes, 10 minutes maybe, for you to like realize, oh, this guy's a monster.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit.
Because Tobias Beecher, I believe, is the lawyer who he's basically
that he gets bunked with.
No, he doesn't get bunked with him.
Oh, he doesn't?
Initially. No.
Oh, okay.
Tobias is basically the first person we get to meet in Oz. He gets put in there, and that's kind of like our view into it.
Fish. That's what they say, like new person in prison.
Oh, yeah?
They're a fish.
Apparently drugs are called tits, so there's this.
I haven't heard that one.
Well, you got to watch Oz.
Okay.
Or maybe not. I don't know. It's a tough watch.
I'll watch it. I just remember getting turned off by the like slam poetry interludes. Like this does not. I don't like this.
And they keep going with it. I mean, it's one of those. It's a very late '90s thing. I think is what that just seemed like a cool thing to do.
Slam poetry was so hot back then.
Well, it seemed Oliver Stonian or like maybe even Quentin Tarantino-esque, where they kind of throw it in there as a narration.
Can you think of any slam poetry in any Quentin Tarantino movie?
I go to Natural Born Killers for Oliver Stone. I don't think there was slam poetry in there, but there could have been.
It felt like there should have been.
Could have been.
Yeah.
Maybe not should. I don't want to should over Oliver Stone. But there could have been.
Yeah.
And there might have been. I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But so there's 2 characters. There's J.K. Simmons' character who does Farmers Insurance.
Yes.
Okay. And it's the character that he has. He is running the Aryan Nation. He is a very not a good guy. He basically
Hardcore
makes
Nazi.
Tobias his bitch within 10 minutes because Tobias's initial prison mate, jailmate, cellmate. I think that's what it is. Cellmate.
Jailmate.
He's like
a different. App.
He's very aggressive. He's very aggressive, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm terrified." And then J.K. Simmons is like, "Oh, I can help you out. I'll help you out. So he brings him in to bunk with him instead. And that's when he shuts the door and he immediately realizes he made a horrible mistake. And then he's getting a swastika tattooed on his ass by J.K. Simmons. And this was within the first 10 minutes of the show.
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
And then I cannot believe the guy. I can't imagine someone who watched Oz and then saw the farmer's insurance commercial. That's just I want to meet a person that did that.
Right. I mean, I'm sure like when he had his agent, J.K. Simmons' agent, reach out to farmers or whoever the ad agency was, like, okay, and the only thing we're going to submit for you guys to consider J.K. for this role is this, couple of the most hardcore scenes from Oz. Because if he can do that, he can sell insurance. Easy.
We all know this,
right?
Well, because in juxtaposition, there's what's his face from the Mayhem guy. We find out Dean Winters, I believe is his name. So Dean Winters, he's also in the show, but he plays the Mayhem guy. He's on, he's on 30
Rock as one of Liz Lemon's boyfriends. He was also in John Wick. He was in that as well.
He basically plays the same character.
Yeah, he's right.
The entire time. It's kind of even keeled.
Yeah.
And so, but his Mayhem character is very much appropriate, like a callback to his character in Oz in many ways.
I don't remember.
Versus J.K. Simmons in complete opposite juxtaposition of J.K. Simmons as a farmer's. I keep wanting to say farmer's almanac insurance, but it's not that. But farmer's
it's just
insurance.
Farmers. Yeah. We are farmers.
It's a rough watch, but it leads me to my question.
Yeah. Okay.
If you went to prison, what would you do? What would your tactic be for going to prison?
I guess this kind of all depends on like how long I'm going to be in there. I mean, like how long what's my bid, if you will?
Well, in Oz, everyone's, I would say, like 15 to 20 years.
15 to 20 years.
And then they always, because what they do is when the new prisoner comes in, they'll kind of give you the backstory, how they got there.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell you the parole, the time they're eligible for parole, which is a big thing. You
want
to know.
I want to make parole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will give you the.
I don't want to be in prison anymore than I have to.
Exactly.
That's that's one of my criteria.
Exactly. I agree. I'm glad we can finally agree on something.
We don't want to be in prison.
Neither of us want to go to prison
for longer than we have to.
Exactly. So I'll give you 20 years, but parole in 9.
Oh, geez, that's
You're doing some time.
I'm doing some time. Listen, the thing about prison is you don't want to stand out. You, because if you stand out, you're a target, and that's a problem. So I want to be like paint on the wall, dude. I don't want to make friends. I'll make a couple of friends at arm's length, enough so I can continue to keep my humanity, and that's about it. I don't want to. I will live a very lonely existence for 9 years of my life.
Hopefully,
if it means that A, I'm not going to get shanked, and B, that I don't fuck up and lose the possibility of parole. So I want to be as anonymous as I can, because no good can come of being like close or in a leader of a gang or something like that.
Well, you're not going to be a leader of a gang. I mean, that's too much work.
I've got leadership qualities, though. That's the thing.
You do, but it could be like a Tobias in, not Tobias in Oz, but a Tobias in Arrested Development, where you...
Tobias Funke?
Yeah, where you accidentally kill, what is it, White Power Bill?
Oh, yeah, White Power Bill.
And he becomes Dorothy.
And he goes, kill the witch.
Exactly.
Oh, no, White Power Bill.
I'm thinking of this right now as we're talking about this. How far? Because we all know how much Mitchell Horowitz, yeah, how deep fucking Arrested Development is.
Yeah,
and there are absolute parallels that they do when Tobias goes to jail and Oz.
Oh, really?
They're doing because they call him Dorothy. I mean, because he killed White Power Bill.
Oh,
I'm wondering if Mitchell Horowitz named Tobias Funke Tobias because of the character from Oz.
That's a question.
That's a question.
There's parallels. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
we're gonna have to DM Mitchell Horowitz now.
Does anybody have Mitchell Horowitz's cell phone number? Let us know.
Well,
we can ask him if he knows the Workaholics guys.
We'll cameo. He was on an episode of Workaholics. Mitchell Horowitz was.
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
yeah.
We can get in touch. It's a big loop. It's all cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy, this. I enjoy like prison movies. Some prison, like, I'm trying to think of other like prison television shows outside of Prison Break, which I did watch, I think most of it. But other than that, I can't think of another like prison television show.
Oh, or like a TV show based around prison? Yeah, I don't know. I can tell you, I can't watch. It's not a bingeable show, Oz. You can't, like,
It's too heavy.
I would worry about the person who spent like a weekend just watching the totality of Oz.
I just plowed through it.
It's like, and then all of a sudden, I couldn't maintain a relationship with anybody. And
I don't know how to have feelings anymore because I had to turn that part of my brain off.
Yeah. I get about 2 episodes in and I'm like, I need something else. I'm going to go take a shower and I'm just going to.
I need a little break.
But, and you'll notice, listeners, that Cole is not here. We had a technical scheduling issue.
Yeah.
And he's not here. But we can agree on one thing. Cole's becoming someone's bitch in prison.
1,000%. 1,000%.
And he would agree with that.
Yeah. I think that Cole, he is. I mean, he's got a pretty mouth.
Yeah,
we all know that.
Everyone knows that.
Everybody knows it. It's the first thing anybody remarks when they meet him. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of awestruck. Golly, look at that mouth.
Look at that mouth.
That's a pretty mouth.
Don't you ever go to prison?
Don't you go to prison because it's not going to turn out well for those molars. How about you, Bob? How are you surviving prison?
Well, and again, I'm getting a lot of this from Oz here. Okay. Because what I want to do is I think I'm picking up smoking first off, just as recreationally. Like I'm just going to want to have something to do. Okay. And then I think I want to work in the kitchen. I think there's some.
That's a good one.
There's a level up that you can do. Get into the kitchen. You know, you have access to stuff because, like the scene from Goodfellas, you know, when they all go where they go to jail and they're cooking and everything like that. That's what I want to get to. I want to get to that point. That place.
The trick is you have to have a lot of money for that to happen.
Yeah. So hopefully whatever I did has money that I can get. And if I can't get money,
have the money seized.
That's what I want. That's what I want the cigarettes for, because then I'll start the cigarette trade.
Yeah.
Or join it.
Okay.
You know, try to figure out a way, make myself useful without having to suck someone's dick.
How would, I guess, what are you bringing to the table?
What do you mean?
Like, as far as talents wise, I mean, you're not going to be.
Well, I'm an idea man.
Yeah.
So I will try to figure out a new, better way to get the cigarettes in.
Okay.
And to be a little more sneaky with it. And that's where I think the kitchen comes in.
Yeah.
Because then we can use the equipment in the kitchen to somehow figure out a way.
Making more cigarettes?
Maybe make some cigarettes. Exactly. Maybe make some prison wine. What do they call that?
Pruno. Yeah.
Bruno or Pruno?
Pruno. Like prunes.
Maybe make some like really good Pruno and get known for that.
Except for you got to be careful. Okay. I remember like watching, there's that one famous like former drug dealer guy who does a lot of short TikTok stuff.
Okay.
And he'll like talk to other former inmates about stuff. And he's like, yeah, the one guy, he like really made really good stuff, but he's like, I can't make more than 2 gallons. If I make more than 2 gallons in a month, then people are going to start asking, I could, like, everybody would buy my stuff, but then they're going to start asking me to kick stuff up. And I didn't want to do that. And I'd rather just stay on my, pigs eat slop and hogs get slaughtered. You know, he wants pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Yeah. So, just try to keep it small.
But that's on the outside world.
You want to.
I don't think that's I don't think that same rationale applies.
You want to stay under the radar of anybody that's in charge, both correctional officers and prison bosses.
See, this is why you got to watch Oz, because again, the guards are just as corrupt. I mean, the guards, you can grease some wheels. Okay, we can juice Newt in the situation. I'm gonna make that a thing. But
quit it.
No, I just want to make myself useful and indispensable. Like you can't touch him. And because here's what happens with Tobias's character, not in Arrested Development, but in Oz, is that he basically goes insane. And that's what his strength is that no one wants to fuck with him because he's crazy.
He's going crazy.
He ends up throwing a chair through a glass window and striking J.K. Simmons. Sorry for the spoilers here, but if you want to watch it.
It's a show that's been out for 30 years now? 20 years?
25, something. Yeah. A while.
A while.
It's not like the Tom Brady roast where I'm going to really ruin anything for you.
Oh, hey, that's a good one.
No, I can.
Any prison talk?
No prison talk.
Oh, that's kind of surprising.
But, so at one point, Tobias's character hits J.K. Simmons with a weight and then puts a chair over his chest and takes a giant shit on his face. So he goes insane, and he does all these different things. He bites the dude's dick off, who forces him to give a blowjob, which I think
that's
another
good
tactic to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one dick, but you bite it off, and no one's fucking with you again.
See, I don't know. I'm fully aware that I'm going to catch some beatings, and that's it. I'm going to try to protect myself, fetal position, crawl, be on the constant awareness of where I could get stabbed. But also, I'm going to do my best to do things that won't make people want to stab me. Well, that's part, like, don't get me wrong, there's random acts of violence and people, like, just catching beatings just because they're catching beatings. But they don't, for the most part, you don't get fucked with unless you fuck up.
Well, and I've never subscribed to, go punch the largest dude in the room. I think that's a wise tale.
Yeah.
I don't think that actually is a thing that you should do. And again, both of us, we're not like violent dudes.
No.
So I don't want to. I'll fight if I have to, but I don't want to be the aggressor.
Right.
I want to, but I want it to be known.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with that guy or be protected. Like that's really what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I want to be a made guy in prison, and I know that's going to take time to get there.
See, that's just
steps.
That's a slippery slope because more money, more problems, Bobby.
No.
I
think you're going to have a very hard time staying out of people's way, staying off the radar, because there's things you're going to have to do. Where are you going to eat? You're going to want to go to the cafeteria.
You got to eat. Like, you have to do. There's all kinds of mandatory things you got to do. But that doesn't mean I have to, like, start glad-handing and saying, hey, everybody, how are you?
I think when you go to sit in the cafeteria, you're going to have to make a decision. And the decision you make is going to put a target on your back no matter what.
I'm going to find the most empty seat and sit there and just not.
I think it's wishful thinking.
No, I'm not talk to anybody outside of
that could be construed.
outside of what's polite, you know.
I don't know, man.
Yep.
I think you're going to run into problems.
No, it's just try to not rock the boat, not make waves, not try to become some kind of kingpin.
Tobias in Oz lasted about 5 fucking minutes before he realized there's also traps along the way.
You got to be smart. You got to be smart. Hey, I'm not going to fill up your commissary. Can't do that. Sorry, Chief. And move on.
I think. Well, let's both go to prison. I'll try it my way. You try it your way, and then we'll figure it out.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
As long as we don't do like the Get Hard movie, because that movie was garbage.
Yeah.
And I love prison movies a lot.
That's not the one. Yeah.
No. What is there like the like something that's considered the best prison like movie?
The best prison to go to?
Or no, the best prison movie. Like
Shawshank Redemption.
Outside of Shawshank, because is Shawshank like Hotel California that it's just like been played too much? Like I wouldn't say that I would never have to watch Shawshank Redemption again, but it's been probably a solid 7 to 8 years since I've watched that movie. And I don't feel like I need to. I don't think
that's a bad comp to say Shawshank is Hotel California, but that's not to say that
They're
Shawshank
both good.
and Hotel California are bad.
They're both good.
Yeah.
They're both good.
It's Ted Turner's fault. He's the one that
just put that motherfucker on loop on TBS. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's Ted Turner's fault. And then, if you want to
Ted Turner
don't blame Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. Yeah. Okay.
The de-evolution of 24-hour news networks, Ted Turner.
Another sneaky thing to survive prison, though, is to, I think, go when you're old. Like, if you went in your, 60s.
You're old?
Yeah, like, there's things that they can do. Like, they'll put you in different cell blocks because you're old.
Because you're old.
Like, if you're 30, 40, like, they're going to throw you in Gen Pop.
You're going into Gen Pop.
But if you're 60, 70, you're not going into Gen Pop.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So I think that might be the way to do it.
Okay, all right.
So you want to make a blood oath when we're 60?
When we're 60.
Let's go to jail for 80 years or for 20 years?
That's the worst retirement. But
we find the best prison, and then all of a
sudden... We find the best prison.
Yeah.
Are we going state or federal here?
Whatever one's best. I think federal might be...
I can't remember. One of them is better, and I can't remember which one.
Well, we got time to figure it out. But this will be a little fun thing. We'll do it for the podcast, because we can still podcast in the
prisons have podcasts now.
Oh yeah,
it's a whole thing.
The prison cast.
Yeah.
So outside of
Shawshank,
what prison movie?
Last Castle. I enjoyed Last Castle.
You do enjoy Last Castle. I did find a list here.
Escape from Alcatraz.
I found a list, and it has a surprising one. This has a surprising movie on here.
Okay, ranker
that I think we'll actually agree on that this might be the best prison movie.
Okay. All right.
So there's Shawshank Redemption. We won't go through all of them. There's the Green Mile.
Green Mile is good. Frank Darabont. It is a good movie. Yeah. It's long. I know you got your problems with old Tommy Hanks, but that's besides the point. Listen, it's got Sam Rockwell in it, and like a Juicy.
I love Sam.
Like
Rockwell.
Cam Newton, Juicy.
Mm-hmm.
Juice Newton. I'm sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm trying to get your bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's a really good Sam Rockwell bit.
You just juice that Newton right through the door.
Yeah.
American History X.
American History X.
I think it counts as a prison movie.
That's you want to talk about fucking depressing. Oh yeah. That's great. Yep. Hey, you want to feel like shit. Mm-hmm. American History X. Oh, that's so good.
There's about 10 minutes of that movie that are redeeming, like where like you feel good.
Oh yeah,
it's like they're gonna turn their life around. This is gonna be good.
No, it's great.
And then spoiler. Yeah. Escape from Alcatraz. I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's good.
I do have my problems with Clint Eastwood more so than Tom Hanks.
This is younger Clint Eastwood, and hey, you know what? Young Fred Ward as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, young Fred Ward.
Okay.
And that's good. And also Harry Dean Stanton, maybe? No, I can't. No, not Harry Dean Stanton. Who's the guy who runs the junkyard in Breaking Bad and El Camino?
Oh,
that guy?
I don't know that guy's name.
That guy.
No one knows that guy's name.
That guy's in it as well.
Cool
Hand
Luke.
Fucking great. That's a fantastic movie.
Exactly.
Like, hands down.
And a movie, too, that I'd say lasts through generations. You could show this to a 25-year-old. Maybe they have to be in film school.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they would actually kind of get sucked into this movie.
Literally, there's only like one thing in that movie. I'm like, oh, that's not... Like, there's a scene where like Luke, Cool Hand Luke, is like running away. And he puts down a bunch of pepper and paprika down on the ground for the bloodhounds that are chasing him to like...
Get thrown off the scent.
Well, yeah. And he's like... All right, hey, watch out. I'm going to watch these dogs. It's going to be the funniest thing you've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And the dogs come and it's the most ridiculous sneezing noises. Like, it's a horrible audio mix. I'm like...
The Foley artists did not do that.
Well, I don't know if they just, like, took the record of sneezes, like, and just inserted it, and it doesn't sound good at all. And I have heard a dog sneeze. It didn't sound anything.
Brag much? Wow.
It sounds nothing like that.
Nathan always likes to say that to someone he just met. It's like, I'm Nathan.
I know what dogs sound like when they sneeze.
It happened to me once. Also, being on the chain gang would be horrible. I mean,
horrible.
Absolutely.
Horrible. Especially like in the South. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just no good.
This movie...
Shot Caller. I have not watched it. I think I've watched maybe one night, like late night after going to the bar, watched like a 5-minute recap of what the movie was, like voiced by AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix, apparently. You can watch it if you want. So that's number 6.
Great Escape.
The Great Escape.
That still holds up.
I also feel like prison movies for a while were like Westerns, where it was its own genre, and people just loved to watch it. Okay. We'll go through a couple more here before I get down to the...
Papillon. Papillon's good.
Papillon?
Yeah. That's really good.
Okay. Again, this falls into the...
This is more like, almost like a little bit like, what's it called? No Escape. Which also prison movie. Well, they're trying to get off an island.
Yeah.
They're trying to... Except for it's like colonial Polynesia or something. I can't remember.
Okay. All right. The Longest Yard. All right.
Burt Reynolds.
Fine. Now I'm going to go down. I'm going to skip. I'm going to skip and go to this other movie that I really am happy I found.
Okay.
Because here it is. It is not The Count of Monte Cristo. Escape from New York.
Escape from away. Yeah. All right.
Right? Because it's a prison movie.
It's technically a prison movie.
Right?
Okay.
Now this has to be a much higher on the list than every other movie we've kind of talked about.
Yeah. No, I really enjoy it. It's not a traditional prison movie.
It's not, but I love it. You can't say that it's not a prison movie.
Not it is a prison movie.
It's a penal colony that they've created.
It's fine.
Yeah, if No Escape is one, then
No Escape is one. Except for I think there's more jail scenes in No Escape than Escape from New York. It's fine.
It's a way for them to envision jail. You know, it's just block off the fucking city. Just let them kill each other.
God, yeah. Fuck yeah. Escape from New York's really good, guys.
So
it's John Carpenter's second best movie.
I've screwed up royally here. Crap. Damn it.
If you want to take the bait, you can take the bait.
Yeah, but I love this. This is now going to be my favorite prison movie. Yeah, when I'm asked all the time, what's your favorite prison movie?
Well, it's clearly Escape from New York.
Escape from New York.
Because it's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's excellent. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. There was somebody was bitching about. So Civil War just came out.
Okay.
Right. And they did
not a prison movie.
It's not a prison movie. But as part of their marketing campaign, there's like posters that were everybody says was clearly made by AI, because it's just like, how they like the RCA towers in downtown Chicago, like they're in weird spaces. They're not like lined up correctly. The skyline of like LA was completely wrong, just stuff like that. And then somebody's like, no, they're just taking liberties, artistically. It's like, hey, Escape from New York, at no point does this scene happen at all. The giant Statue of Liberty head in the middle of downtown.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and somebody just created that out of thin air. And so how different is it? Is this
they used Escape from New York as an example?
As an example of, hey, it's not real. It's not like what's shown in the movie. It's just kind of there. I mean, as far as
are you explaining movie posters to people? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that it's not a full representation. So you shouldn't be shitting on this AI created work because, this artist pretty much did the whole thing as well.
I thought they were going to do viral marketing where they were going to try to divide the country throughout the last 10 years through, mainstream media.
I don't think that's what Alex Garland? No.
That's not what they did?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure.
They did. That's a good long game.
That's a real long game.
It's almost like old Mitch Horowitz calling Tobias. That's a long, long con.
There's got to be some information about that. Any other other good movies on here that you're like?
No, I stopped at Escape from New York. Everything works.
Any that you disagreed with?
I mean, again, I think what we found out.
Life will be one I will disagree with because that thing was a piece of shit.
Well, again, what do you expect out of So I watched Unfrosted recently.
How is it?
Jerry Seinfeld Pop-Tart movie on Netflix.
Yeah,
it was perfectly fine. It was everything I was expecting it to be.
Okay.
It's a zany world where they're characterizing the race
History,
between Kellogg's and Post to get a pastry on the shelf. From the trailer, I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, it's got a ton of people in it. Holy shit, yeah, absolutely. Anything with Fred Armisen eating a Pop-Tart, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going for what Fool's Paradise, the Charlie Day movie, was also going for, where it's kind of like zany world around you, and then but also kind of rooted in really simple, a really simple task, basically. So like Charlie Day's Fool's Paradise, he plays a mute actor that becomes famous, so everything else is happening around him and stuff. But there's zany characters, like almost cartoonish characters and stuff in it. It's just that, unfortunately, Fool's Paradise was not very good. Not very good. And I love Charlie Day. America loves Charlie Day, but it was a rough watch. But I think Unfrosted nailed the tone that they were going for.
Sure.
Like the serial characters and stuff like that, like the mascots and everything.
Yeah.
They wear the costume outside of the shoot and stuff like they live the life basically.
Okay.
So the Snap Crackle Pop guys are always Snap Crackle and Pop, even if they're at a funeral or something like that. Which again, zany. The milkmen have been conspiring to stop the pup pastries being made because of this long-standing battle that they've had and understanding that they've had with Kellogg's and Post. Again, zany. What do you expect? It's a movie about fucking Pop-Tarts.
Right.
Well, I was hanging out with some friends and I told them that we watched it and they were like, "Oh yeah, I heard that was a real piece of shit." I'm like, I mean, it was fine. I didn't shut it off by any means, or feel like I wanted to shut it off, honestly. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, again, I made the same point of it's a movie about Pop-Tarts. What do you what are your expectations for this movie to be disappointed?
Yeah.
And because even Charlie Day's movie, I fell asleep. That's how I didn't shut it off. I fell asleep.
That's bad.
That's not good though.
That's bad.
It's not good. So then I go on Rotten Tomatoes and look up. I'm like, is it really getting shit on? And fucking Unfrosted is performing worse than Ricky Stenicki. Ricky Stenicki has better ratings on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't know why you had to say that name, by the way.
Because to give context, because we have talked about it and we've almost put Stanicky on the board.
Yeah,
of
it's
things
up there.
Not to talk about, but I just think it's egregious that
It's getting that
Unfrosted
bad?
is getting that shit on.
Yeah.
But it goes back to you saying Life was
Life
a piece of shit.
is-
What is your expectations for an Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence vehicle?
to be funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
And from what I remember back in 1999, 2000, whenever I watched it, I just remember being incredibly bored and not finding anything funny. Pull up the IMDb score of fucking Life, and you tell me whether or not me calling it a piece of shit is warranted.
I'm not defending the movie. I'm saying I'm blaming you and saying what is your expectation for this movie?
Of it to be
I would
funny.
come in and be like, oh, it's a movie about Eddie Murphy in
6.8.
6.8. Yeah, so that's not a bad score.
What's the Rotten Tomatoes?
You just want to keep searching until.
Well, no, just
because I think you should probably go back and watch this movie. This is also where I miss having Cole here.
Yeah. Okay. Not that one. Add 1999.
Well, here we'll just type it in. Here we'll go to the
Life, not the.
Don't worry.
Not the Ryan Reynolds. Or I'm sorry, Jake Gyllenhaal. Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my gosh! All right, so here, Life is 52% critics, but 77% audience. This is Ricky Stanicky numbers.
This is Ricky Stanicky numbers. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Versus, I'll pull up Unfrosted. It's right here. 42%, and then also 50% for the audience. I'm telling you, I'm going to defend the movie. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
I wonder how much this is like after, like, Jerry Seinfeld made some comments recently.
Oh, really?
Of saying, you know, I'm done with woke, like,
yeah, he did do that.
wokeness, and, you know, you can't be as edgy as you want to be anymore because you're just going to get ripped apart. And then this is the movie he releases, like, immediately after that, which how, like, woke, or, like, how anti-woke or how, like, cutting edge or edgy was Unfrosted, Bobby.
I mean, not at all. It's a movie about Pop-Tarts. I mean, that's again where this is. But I think to what Jerry Seinfeld's point is, and also I believe, was Jerry Seinfeld not on an episode of Oz? Pretty sure he was.
I don't know about that.
I think we can. God, I miss Cole. Look it up real quick here. Just because
I just miss Cole.
Well, I do, because then he could do this while I made my point. So it looks like it was an SNL skit.
Oh, this almost feels like there was a 30 Rock skit or 30 Rock bit where the TV exec, played by Alec Baldwin, he's like
the murderer, the manslaughterer,
manslaughter. And I don't know if I would go that far. Anyway,
no one.
Where he's like, I got this great. Everybody loves Seinfeld, so I took all the footage from Seinfeld. I took it down to the boys' crack team down in Tech, and we've now made a digital replica of Seinfeld, and we inserted him into all kinds of different shows.
Yeah.
And so all summer we can put in reruns, but it's going to have Jerry Seinfeld. I'm calling it Seinfeld Vision.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like nobody told Jerry. It was just like he was like, I was in vacation when my mom called me and asked me why I was on an episode of SVU.
Yeah,
you know?
something.
Well, I didn't.
And that's a good bit. It's a good bit. I think what Jerry Seinfeld is doing is defending comedy, and that's what he's long since been a person who has analyzed comedy from afar while also being inside of it. And he's a master at his craft for sure. Yeah. He knows what he's talking about. So
that's a circle roundtable discussion between him, Ricky Gervais, Chris Rock, and who else? Louis C.K. That's fantastic as far as like if you're interested in the craft of stand-up comedy. That's a great way to like understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, it should be a yearly watching for people. They should watch that. But I think his point that he was making is that it's not that studios won't make those movies. It's that people won't watch those movies because that wokeness has infiltrated their system.
Sure.
Like to the point where they can't find the same thing funny that they used to find funny.
Right.
And again, comedy evolves and everything like that.
Yeah.
And Jerry Seinfeld has never really been an edgy comedian
in
any way, shape, or form.
No, he's very straight.
But he is a protector of comedy.
Yeah.
And especially the pillars and the ideals of it. And even because I think they talk about it in that roundtable. He's like, he doesn't swear.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't.
But he
blue.
doesn't. But he understands why people do it.
Right.
But that's just an element of him being a comedian that
he just wanted to find a way without doing it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Because
he thought it was a crutch.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
And it very much is. I mean, I think that happens in songwriting too, where it's like the song can seem, oh, they're so cool because they said fuck right there. Yeah. Oh my God, it's so cool. And that can absolutely play out. The Mumford and Sons song is the I really fucked it up this time. It's
I don't.
That
I'm not
is
a big
an
Mumford
example.
and Sons fan
Neither
over
am I.
here.
Look, we can agree on two things now. Not a big Mumford and Sons guy, and we don't want to go to prison longer than we have to.
Can you do me a favor? Can you dive into the audience ratings just a little bit?
Read some.
I'm just a little bit curious.
Sure.
Now.
Of Unfrosted. Here we can get
Unfrosted.
Into it. Yep. Again, this is from Matt Zoller. He's a top critic. It's not only a critic-proof movie; it's an artsy-proof movie and an audience-proof movie. Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's good. Some really good stuff. This is from Landon B. Just a very unfunny and unnecessary movie about the fictional invention of the Pop-Tart. Okay. Again, is it necessary or unnecessary?
Oh no, yeah. I there's so many movies that I feel like are completely unnecessary. You know this.
We just saw like 47 movies called Life. Like,
yeah.
There's some of it has to be some overlap.
Unfrosted is an underwhelming comedic retelling that wastes its premise and abundance of actors and comedians. Stop putting Amy Schumer in anything but an electric chair.
Wow. Okay. And then some of the good ones. One of the best comedies I've seen in a while. Absurd, silly, and never takes itself seriously. I'd agree. And I cannot fathom or understand the hate and bad reviews it's been getting.
You and AJE.
Me and AJE understand exactly what the hell is going on. It's never takes itself too seriously is a great way to
That's
describe
a good way
the movie.
to describe it. Yeah.
Let's go back to the shitty ones.
I wanted to love it because I love Jerry, but I couldn't make it past the first 25 minutes.
And can you see like how old these people are too?
Ginny?
No, damn it. But I do wonder with his comments if there's some mixed reviews with this. That's a good one. We don't want to read the good ones. Very possibly the worst movie I've ever seen. That's a little hyperbolic. Okay. Though I actually only made it about halfway. That's about right. Incredibly forced jokes, which invariably landed with a thud. Surprisingly grating performances by actors I previously admired. ... All in all, a pathetic effort.
Wow. Wow, Steve W.
Steve W.
Going hard in the paint.
Possibly the worst movie he's ever seen. He only watched half of it.
Has he seen Life?
No.
Here's a question for you, Bobby.
Yeah.
Which one was funnier? Unfrosted or Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh, good call.
Because now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hearing your thoughts so far, but now I need to. Quite frankly, the fact that you didn't give a resounding, Unfrosted.
It is Unfrosted, yes, yeah.
But it wasn't like immediate, like you got to think about it for a second.
No,
which causes me concern.
I was going to give you kudos. I was like, good question. Good question. That's a good one. Nice callback. I by no means am defending Dude, Where's My Car? Okay.
It feels like it still.
No. There's a whole nother presentation I'll say for another podcast where we can go into the litany of Dude, Where's My spinoffs that have happened. A ton. If you want to talk, I'll talk to Steve fucking W. You want to talk about the worst movie I've ever seen? Let's look up Dude, Where's My Dog? Okay. Let's even see if it registers on
Dude, Where's My Dog?
Dude, Where's My Dog? It stars Kevin Farley.
Oh, no.
Is it on here? Yes. Dude, Where's My Dog? 2014. Doesn't even get a critics review. Critics are like, I'm not watching this garbage. 20% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, for audience reviews.
Ray's dog runs into his neighbor's house and is doused with a top secret invisibility spray. Ray and his friends have to track down Harry before his parents get home, or the bad guys extract Harry's DNA.
That's a premise.
It's a premise. And then the first audience review, which is great, is Venom was a great movie. That's really good. But 6 people, I think we can go through all 6 audience reviews of Dude, Where's My Dog? And just this is just context to what Steve W. was saying is
the worst movie.
Possibly the worst movie I've ever seen.
Horrible movie. Atrocious acting. It was very hard to follow the plot. Not even my kids liked it.
Maybe the worst movie, and these are all unnamed people here. So
yeah, no one will
clearly
put their name on
bots.
this.
But maybe the worst movie ever. Some movies are bad. Some movies are so bad that they become good again. This movie is so bad that it transcends becoming good again, and movies all the way back to terrible. If Bowfinger got together with Ed Wood, made a kids movie, it would be this movie.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie for kids, she says. Holy smokes, that movie was awful. The story, the attempt at humor, the acting, the music, all of it was horrible. It was actually so bad that we ended up laughing at how stupid it was. It's one of those films that might have a chance as a cult classic for being so ridiculously ridiculous. I actually recommend that you watch this movie just so you can experience it for yourself. Watching the credits, you'll be amazed that...
Oh, you want to finish this?
Yeah.
Okay.
That many people were convinced to participate in creating such a cinematic turd.
Yeah, we tried to find like the budget for this movie. Couldn't find a lot of info on this thing, but I feel like it's going to cost more than the Workaholics. Like, this costs less than the Workaholics movie.
Okay,
but we could try to get a barrier to figure out what we need to raise here. This next one's a super reviewer, and it seems like it could get
holy
long.
shit! Oh my god!
So we're not going to read this dissertation. This dude
That's
did.
Literally a page and a half of text. Oh, it goes through the whole fucking plot. Oh my god!
I'll just say the first couple sentences here. It says, "I have mentioned before in the past that I babysit sometimes." It's again. This is like
I don't care who you are.
This is a recipe. Like they're telling us, like back in the Tuscan neighborhood is where my grandfather grew up. But my collection is not exactly kid-friendly, parentheses, 12 Years a Slave and Waltz with Bashir, to name some. It's just...
That's a pretentious name drop.
This is a pretentious name drop, and you're reviewing fucking Where's My Dog?
Yeah.
Like, this guy should not be babysitting anybody.
No.
If you're doing this.
Ugh.
Okay? So... Again, let's set context when we're calling things the worst movie
you've ever seen.
Let's stop throwing around these hyperbolic, statements.
Right.
That don't need to be there.
We don't need to do that, guys.
No. And watch Unfrosted. It's fine.
It's fine. I'm sure it is. I'll watch it. I got to get through Better Call Saul for the second time, but
That's fair.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul's better than Unfrosted.
Oh, well, okay. All right. As long as I get the barometer.
I know you're coming here for these massive hot takes like we're doing. Yeah, this is going really out on a limb here saying Better Call Saul is better than Unfrosted.
Okay. I believe it.
And at the end of the day.
Yeah. This could be a podcast.
Hey, everyone. Thanks so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Leave us a review that's better than some of the stuff that Dude Where's My Dog got.
Yeah, please.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You could even give us 5 stars and say Venom was a great movie, and we'll know what you mean.
I'll take that 1,000%. Venom was a great movie, and this is a good podcast, so rate us.